What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Lone Wolv Podcast. I'm your host, Wolfson, and today's episode, we're going to talk about the use of video games. Are they a distraction for us producers, engineers, creatives, and artists? Or are they a form of creativity to our craft? I know, it's another controversial topic since a lot of people say that video games is a major distraction on producing music or even on engineering music, since it's a major time consuming, and people have said a lot that all the time that you spend playing video games, you could have used that time on focusing on your music, which I agree. However, on the other hand, it can also be a form of creativity, inspiring, and motivation on how they manage to get those unique element sounds, from the ambience to the monster of the growls, to even how they sound design those spaceship sounds. Also, it could potentially use a form to destroy writer's block, in my personal opinion. It's very interesting to talk about this stuff because I've been on both sides of the coin for this subject, and I'm happy to discuss it with you guys. So be sure to like and subscribe for your weekly episodes at the Lone Wolv Podcast for Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and iHeartRadio, as well as for the YouTube channel at lonewolfpod.com. That's lonewolfpod.com, where you can check all my latest episodes. You can also follow me at all my social medias at Wolfson Music for any recent updates. Now, without further ado, let's get started. This is the Lone Wolv Podcast. It's just like, all right. But enough of that. Welcome to another episode of the Lone Wolv Podcast. Today's episode, we're going to talk about video games. Are they actually a distraction for us creative people? Or are they actually a form of creativity for us creative people? Now, I know what a lot of people have said, and like I said earlier in my intro, I've been on both sides of the coin. Yes, I do agree on some, and then I disagree on some. But that's not what we're going to be talking about. I mean, we are, but that's just one of the things that we're going to talk about. One of the major things is the ability of why is actually a good thing. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about all the music and sounds in video games, the inspiration, the ideas that people come up with these sounds, also what can inspire me to do all of this stuff, the motivation that gets me driven to do this, how it can actually potentially help you sound design, my final thoughts, and at the end of the show, we're going to mention a few pros and cons to this, so that way we can balance it out into it. Now, I will say this is something that's not for everybody. It does work for me, but it may not work for you. But I will discuss that at the end of the show of why it could potentially work regardless. But there are some downfalls into it. Now, what I think about this, here's the thing. I've been a video game user for my whole life. For as far as I can remember, I've been playing video games my whole life. Literally. Probably since I was 5 years old. Somewhere around there. I don't know where. My first console was definitely the Sega Genesis, and my first game was Sonic the Hedgehog, which makes me a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan for many, many years, including when it came out on the Dreamcast, which, great game. Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, by far the best Sonic games ever made. After that, every other Sonic game was shit. That's coming from me. I don't care what anybody tells me. I don't care what anybody says. There could be some good Sonic games here and there. All right, my favorite of them all was the Adventures game. Those are by far has been the best, but that's precise the point. That's another topic for another day. Anyways, I've been playing video games since, whenever the Sega Genesis was out with the Sonic the Hedgehog games. I remember my old man, every time he travels, he gets me like another version of the game. So it's like Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, 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 all the way. And it's very difficult for me to say this type of stuff because I've been a video gamer since yay high. And then when I decided to make music or engineer, I could have used some of that time of me playing a video game at that time when I started it, and I could apply it to making music. I guess when that producer bug bit me was like around college time. I was already too late because most of the time, if you hear some of the interviews from all these well-known producers, they say that they start on an early age, like at 15 or something, and that's good because at that time they're actually trying to focus on something that they like to do, and they keep practicing over and over and over and over until by the time they're 20, they're right now touring. I came late to the game, like seriously, no pun intended on that one. I came late, like around 22, 23. That's when I started producing. That's when I started to learn. And then by the time I was 24, I went to school so I can learn more. But also, school taught me how to, sound design and engineer and all the above. Anything that involves audio, it taught me that. Not just how to make music by music theory and all this stuff, but overall, it taught me how to learn all the process of audio. And I could agree that sometimes I could have used that time that I was playing a video game to focus on my craft, to do other stuff. But the thing is, it's kind of hard when you've actually done something your whole life to make a pause for the cause to do something else. It's kind of hard because you invested yourself. You invested yourself on playing this video game, on the story, on the timeline, the franchise itself. And like all of a sudden you need to stop it all completely so you can actually make music. It's kind of hard, Some people, I've talked to a lot of people, some people have sold their consoles and whatnot so they can focus on music and whatnot, and they've done great results of it. Hey, man, and I give props to those guys because they did what I couldn't do. I, for the life of me, cannot sell my own video game console or any of my video games just so I can focus on music. Like, I couldn't do that. No, I can't. Like, I need to have a video game in my life. That's a must. Just like I need to have Wi-Fi, just like I need to have a computer so I can do all this type of cool stuff. I need to have a video game in my life as well. That's just like one of the standards in my life. But that's how I administer myself to it. And that's another thing, that the problem that I'm seeing a lot of people criticizing those people is that those people that are criticizing these people that they're playing video games is like, oh, you could have used that time to make music, which I agree. But you're just saying that because you never came from a background of making video games or playing video games. You're saying that as an outsider, somebody that's never touched a console, or they have, and they only play like what the hits like FIFA, Madden, NBA 2K, like sports games. Yeah, you're coming from that background because it's easy for you to say like, oh, I'm bored with FIFA, like I'm gonna do something else. Of course, because for us, video games, FIFA is boring as shit, and any of those sports games are boring as shit. All they do is basically it's the same game, only with better graphics. They never change anything. Like, and they do, it's just minor stuff. So we noticed that. You people that never play a video games and criticize other people, you don't realize that. You just see it like, ooh, wow, gorgeous, wow, blah, blah, blah. But that goes back to my point. If you have never been a video gamer, if you never play if you only been playing Call of Duty and the games and whatnot because it's famous and whatnot, you're not a video gamer. A video gamer, to my definition, is somebody that has been playing video games for years, and years. And not just the popular ones like Fortnite and PUBG and Call of Duty and FIFA and any of those sports. No, I'm talking about all these people that has invested times on playing other franchise video games, like even the low tier ones to the higher ones to even the popular ones. Of course, they're gamers. They'll play for it. Those are real video gamers. Anybody else that says, oh yeah, I play video games too, I'm a video gamer, it's like, yeah, what you play? Call of Duty. Okay, what else? Nah, Fortnite. Stop. Don't talk to me. Stop. You're not a video gamer. Just mind your own business. So I got something to say to those people who criticize us, video gamers, and people that have never touched a video game in their life, that they say you could use that time to make music. Guess what, guys? I got news flash for you. One of the best producers in the game plays video games, and because of him being playing a video games and being a video gamer, is one of the biggest dubstep producers. IA, Snails. Huge nerd. Shout out to you, brother. I'm with you all the way. He's been playing video games all his life, and he makes the most gnarliest sounds ever. Like, his music is just like, he invented the genre term vomit step. Like, it's super nasty. Like, you're telling me that I can do stuff like that by playing video games, and you're saying that I couldn't? You could have just used that time to make music? Fuck you, bro. No. I will say this. There is a time to do all this type of stuff. Absolutely. You just have to administer the time. Because let's face it, some of these up-and-comers have a lot of video game backgrounds on it. They've been playing video games, and you're a person that's never touched video games are telling them, like, no, don't play video games, play this. Like, guess what? Some of the greatest filmmakers play video games, and they have to play video games because they need to do the research. If they want their sound or their movie to sound like this and this, man, they need to do the research. They need to know why it sounds like that. How do they make it like that? And then that filmmakers, they go to those people. It's like, how do you make that sound? Can you make something similar to that to my movie? Even actors play video games. They have to. If they're gonna play it on a role of a video game franchise, which, by the way, most of the video game franchise movies are pure garbage, but there are a couple of gems here and there. Like the recent Sonic the Hedgehog movie from Jim Carrey and the guy who plays John Ralphio from Parks and Rec. I forgot his name. Sorry, man. That was a great movie. Not gonna lie. It was a great movie. It was a typical family movie that you would expect. It was fun. I laughed my ass off. The other movie that I thought that was, whoa, that was a great movie. Tomb Raider, the last Tomb Raider, not the Angelina Jolie one. No, the last one. Pretty generic, whatever, but it was actually pretty cool. But those people had to play the video games for them to understand what they're doing, what they're acting. So you're telling me not to play video games, just focus on your music? Like, no, fuck you. I'm gonna be playing video games, but I'll be focusing less on playing video games. That's a better way to tell people how to focus on your music. Focus less on playing video games and work a little bit more on making music or engineer or whatever creativity that you do, or graphic design or stuff, or photo editing or video editing, stuff like that. That's fine. It's all about administering your time. That's all. It's very simple. Just learn how to administer your time to be playing your video games, to make your stuff, like priorities as well. All right, let me prioritize on making my music. Damn, I need to mix and master this song by today. Damn, but I so want to play video games. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to focus 3 hours of my time on mix and mastering. If I get it done by 4 hours done, then I'll play like an hour of my video game afterwards. Motivation. Yeah, like just, all right, if I do this for 3 hours, my motivation is like I get to play video games. Same concept. Like it drives us to the point like, oh man, so it gets me motivated to like, all right, let me do this, man. Let me do this so that way I feel rewarded after I'm done, you know? After I'm done, it's like, okay, I could get my video games. Even though it's an hour or play 2, at least it's something, you know? Just make yourself like feel like you're getting yourself rewarded, so you get to actually have the option to like, all right, this is the reason why I'm playing video games. But it all comes down to administering your time. That's all. Just learn how to administer your time. I kid you not, it wasn't easy for me, especially since I've been playing video games for my whole life. When I moved down here in Miami, I needed to learn how to administer my time. When to DJ, when to make music, when to play video games or watch time, you know, because, hey, by the way, sometimes we actually need a time off because we sometimes take all this production stuff as a job, which we should and we shouldn't at the same time. Another topic for another day. But we take it as a job that we have to accomplish. If we don't accomplish did, then we haven't done anything. So we need to take this, and then we afterwards we're just like, oh, man, my mind hurts. Like I need a break. I need a break. Especially when it comes to writer's block. Like when it comes to writer's block, like nothing can do anything. So what do? Well, in my personal opinion, when it comes to writer's block, I do stuff outside of music, outside of engineer or whatever I'm doing, So I go build my own gun place. I build Gundams. Like shit, let me put you this one. Like see? Like stuff like this, I build them. It takes me like a couple of hours, but once I'm done with it, it's just like I completely forgot about the song. And then when I come back again, holy crap, I feel inspiring and all the above, I playing Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I play Yu-Gi-Oh cards once in a while, and that's another thing. I spend time with my girlfriend. I go out on the weekends. Well, not now on COVID times. Like, we just spend time together here watching Netflix or Hulu or whatever, On COVID times, we can go out. But before COVID times, yeah, absolutely. I spend a lot of time going out with my girl, and we do other cool stuff, And other times during my writer's block, I play video games. That's it. And before outside, after everything was said and done, I come back, open a session, and boom, magic happens. It just does. So yeah, it's basically you have to administer your time. That's all. That's all you gotta do. Now, let's talk about music and sounds in video games. Why do I relate a lot about music, the sounds that comes out of those? Believe it or not, all the greatest ideas from my dubstep productions and mid-tempo, yes, I've done a mid-tempos, only for few projects here, there, that another day to talk about. It actually comes ideas from playing video games. Like the growls actually comes from all these, unique monster bosses that I fight against. Like sometimes you're on a level and all of a sudden you see all these grunts, and then all you see is these boss monsters with this whole unique growl and shit, and you're like, what the fuck? I have to take him down? But at the same time, you're like, how did you make that sound? How you make that growl? Ooh, that's nasty. Believe it or not, sometimes some of these video games like God of War from the PlayStation 4, they actually have some behind the scenes that you can look it up at YouTube. And it's incredible how they make the sound design behind one of those monsters. And it's like the most simplest shit ever. Like, I could do that. Well, I actually did. Virtual Riot actually has done that before. Like, sometimes some of his growls came from sounds from monsters or animals or shit like that. I know for a fact on one of his YouTube videos, he made everybody show like I'm making a growl out of a lion's roar. And he did it. And he gave it to everybody. It's like, here, free download. Here's the growl. Here's the sample. It's a lot of processing and a lot of layering. Yes, but it's possible. And it just gives you that imagination like, oh my God, what if I actually growl? What if I actually take the mic and started to growl? And I go, grrr, and all of a sudden you take that little sample and then you start layering. One would be the original, the other one being like 12 semitones less, another one being 12 semitones up, and then another one with lots of effects, another one with the effects of those effects with more additional effects, and you layer them each other. See how that sounds? I kid you not. With all that processing, after all that's done, it sounds like a unique growl. And before you know it, you have your own growl. Like, I kid you not, guys. You can make your own dubstep drop out of just you growling through the mic. You just take a mic and growl the fuck out of it. Yes, it's a lot of processing, but I kid you not, the end result is gold. And this is what we call resampling. That's right. You're resampling your original sample, your original sound. And kid you not, that's a great form of sound design. You just take your original sound and just mash it up later in mixed processing. Obviously, to a certain degree, to the degree in which you wanted to make it sound where you want it to sound, not to have like a bunch of garbage up all layered out like this, and all of a sudden you hear like it's like, oh shit, all right. But even sometimes when shit like that sounds like that, you go back again to the steps. It's like, all right, maybe let me eliminate this one, and then let me eliminate this one. Let me see how it sounds. There's a whoa. There's movement. Sounds much cleaner. Sounds much better. Okay, let's work with that. So even so, you can still make a lot of unique sounds like. And I kid you not, all these video games, all these sounds come from Foley art. If I haven't pursued much production and DJing, I could have gone to Foley art. I could have gone to LA by now and do a lot of Foley art. A bunch of it. I don't know if there's in South Florida. I would like to be part of it. I kid you not. I would want to do Foley art for a living. It's dope. And for those of you who don't know what Foley arting is basically the act of creating sounds out of whatever is around you. This is layman's term. There's a better definition of it, but that's basically what it is. So if I want to create footsteps on a commercial, as you see a guy walking and you want to recreate those footsteps, you basically take a microphone and you start walking around and create those footsteps, and you go one by one, and then you just basically matched it up with the video, and then you hear the guy walking on the footsteps on the commercial. I've done a final project like that for a video game trailer. It was the funnest project ever done. Kid you not. Like back at school, that final project was amazing. It was The Order 1886, something like that. It was a video game for the PlayStation 4 at the time when it came out, one of those recent exclusives. Didn't do so well, but the trailer was amazing. I loved it because we did it. So I did the music out of it. It was very mid-tempo-y drops at the time with some cinema elements, ambience and shit or whatnot. And I recreated the sound, the talk of the monster. There's a scene where there's a monster chewing up human flesh, and then I basically started like, I'll give you like a peek demonstration. So let's just imagine that all of a sudden there's a scene popping out, and then you see a monster eating a human flesh. This is how basically the human flesh of him eating. And it matched up perfectly. Now this monster all of a sudden sees you and then starts smelling you and then starts talking to you, and it goes like, I can smell you, human. It was hell of a fun. I did those, and some of my classmates did their part. Some of them voice acted one of the characters. Another one was basically like creating sounds of the blood dripping with raindrops. Raindrops, basically. Another person was just like hearing a thump, like that's just me hitting myself with the elbow, and that created we layering that and created the monster and the human fighting each other. They were like fist pumping each other or shit like that. But that little thump that happened make it sound loud enough that it was like, oh shit, it was right there. Whoa, damn. Lots of fun. I kid you not. It was fun, and it all based on video games. We're circling back again to all this motivation came from video games, and it's amazing. That Foley art was amazing on that final project. I wish I could continue to do this. Hopefully in the future, there could be some potential projects in the future that I can go back again, or even start doing stuff like that. I'm more than welcome. Also, voice acting, another form. See, all the time I'm talking about this, you don't really have to make music. You don't have to focus on your shit and stop playing video games altogether. No, all these video games gave me all these bright ideas to make all this stuff. Like, I can literally be a voice actor for an antagonist for a video game or a cartoon or something. Like I can voice act for that. I could be the bad guy, the boss monster, whatever. I can Foley. I can go take a video game, a trailer of whatever, and recreate all these sounds out of it. I can sound design all this as well. Like I can layer all this so I can make it sound like that to anything. Like look at all the limitless potential by me just playing video game and me learning all these concepts of audio. I can go nuts. Sky's the limit. So when people tell me don't play video games, focus on your shit, it's like, you know what? I know what I'm doing. Thank you. Don't worry about me, all right? Worry about yourself. And sometimes they're doing this and not in the meanest way. They're doing it to help you out so they can propel your career even further. However, they don't know what it's like. Again, circling back again to what I said earlier in the statement. They don't know what it is to be a video gamer because they never focus their time on playing video games like we have. I play Skyrim, Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, like obviously the Call of Duty games. I like the campaign. I don't play much the multiplayer. I like the campaign. All that concept of Fortnite and Battle Royale and shit like that. Like I hate it. I don't like it. I'm more campaign driven, you know. Well, it's bigger, sure. Did I mention Skyrim? I'm pretty sure. Like Pokemon. I play Pokemon all the time, bro. And some of those Pokemon elements for those Pokemon sounds, that actually inspires me to some gnarly, screechy sounds. If you notice someone on my dubstep music that haven't released any, then hopefully soon I'll be able to release an EP by the end of the year. Hopefully. Let's see what happens. Some of those, I basically took the mic, recorded that screechy sound from the Pokemon. Bro, I made it into a nasty screechy sound and it sounds amazing. Some of my dubstep songs have them. Like, yeah, they all have elements from video games and whatnot. That's where most of my ideas came from freaking playing video games. It inspired me to get these gnarly sounds out, you know? Obviously, it's all thanks to Serum and Faceplant and then resampling from Ableton and whatnot, but it's because of that I managed to get those ideas into that, and it got me close enough to what I was trying to get to. And once I got it, boom. Now, put it out there. Put it out there, man. So, yeah, playing video games can definitely be a good thing for us video gamers. It's like, again, I circle back to this. I keep circling back to all these topics, but everything leads up to a point to where I'm talking about. It all comes down to administering your time. And I agree that some producers, some up and coming producers have a hard time making music or engineer or creating or video editing or photo editing or graphic design or whatever it is, any sort of creativity that comes out of it. They do have a hard time to do the work because they're more playing on these video games. Yes, I do agree that they are people, and they talk to me. They tell me like, yeah, I have to turn off the TV because it's a distraction for me. I have to sell off my ad spots and whatnot because it's a distraction. I could have never done nothing. Let's say out of 10 people that have told me about that, 2 out of the 10 managed to do that successfully and now they're big. But the rest, the 8 out of the 10, they're still struggling. All because they do not want to stop playing video games. Now I get it. I'm not saying to stop video games. I'm saying minister your time. Just have a time slot to play this and have a time slot to make your music. That's all. That's all I'm asking. And believe it or not, sometimes this gives you motivation because when you're on writer's block, you need to motivate yourself. You need to do something. Like you said yourself, you were planning that, all right, today I'm going to play and do some music. Like I need something to inspire me. I need something to motivate me. A stick at the end of the road, you know, a carrot. Well, you play a little video games, like play a video game, 1 hour or 2. Tops 2. And then go back. And then once you go back, boom, magic happens. Works for me all the time. It can work for me as well before and after. Like I can either start whatever I gotta do and then use video games as a trophy, as a means to an end. Like, all right, Let me do this for a couple of hours, finish this up, and then boom, I can play my video games all I want because I already did the job. Or I play an hour or two so I could get myself motivated, so that I could get all these sounds and shit, like ideas and whatnot, and then start making music, and I could spend hours. Now, normally I will say when you're making music, because you don't have the time, because you gotta go to school, you gotta work, and then all you gotta do is like sit back and relax and chill because like I'm too tired because of whatever reasons. I get it. So here's the things that you can actually do, like just play an hour of video games, and then do an hour of making production or something. Just 1 hour, one and one. You will never be disappointed. Because even though it's only 1 hour, even though it may feel like, shit, it's over, my hour is past, damn. It will never disappoint you because like you can practice this every day until you get to a certain way of like automatically, this is what I do every day. I play 1 hour of video games and I do 1 hour of music. And then I go eat, shower, and then go to sleep. Just play 1-1. You'll never be disappointed, guarantee. Because at least you fulfill you fulfill both of those bargains, both of those feelings that you wanted to do. You accomplished something. Granted, it may be the slowest way to do it, it's effective. And it helps people out. So another good thing about playing these video games is the potential of sound design. Now, I already said that earlier that, because of me doing the growls and shit and whatnot, I actually managed to sound design. Well, it can take you even further because sometimes us up and comers, we usually go to the most popular plugin. In this case, Serum. Serum is literally the most popular plugin to sound design. It is. Like, it's very easy, it's user-friendly, and you can do so much more with that. And sky's the limit with that plugin. That plugin is literally made to be the sky's the limit to see how far you can go. And you literally get some gnarly ideas by playing these video games by just going with Serum. But is that as far as your imagination can go? No. You can actually take that a step further. So let's just say that you actually make your sound design based on the game God of War, for example. God of War, PlayStation 4. There's a monster has a gnarly sound. Ooh, I wanted that sound. It's hard to recreate it. So let me take my mic. Let me hear it. Let me record it. Boom, got it. Now, how can I use this sound? How can I actually make this sound to a growly, nasty drop that I want for my song? You just basically drag and drop that into Serum and use it on one of its oscillators. And then you basically sound design the fuck out of it. Like, you look all possible routes to make that sound nice. Make it moving. Make it sound like even more. And Serum gives you that perfect tool to do it. Granted, Serum is not the only one. Faceplant can do this and other plugins as well. I'm just using Serum as the example of, the most popular one that of sound design, and you can do it with that. So anyways, so yeah, let drag and drop to Serum. You did all you got to do. You sound design it. Boom. You just got your sound. That's step one. Believe it or not. For sound design, that's step one. Step two is the most, holy crap, here we go. Because what you do, whatever you did on Serum by taking the sound out of the game into Serum, that's just one step. The second step becomes, all right, let's expand this even further by resampling. So what you do is what I said earlier about layering down a sound one after another, changing the tonality of each one, or have a different one process a certain way, adding certain effects, certain EQs, and blah, 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 and then have them all layered down. And before you know it, you got that one nasty, huge sound. And it becomes the most nastiest growl that you've ever produced. And it was on just one thing. and then you made it into a whole huge thing. And then step three is when you take that nasty growl and you process it, cleaning it up to make it sound big and nice and crisp and clean. And boom, you got your own personal drop that you can use it on any other songs that you want. And you can just like measure it. That's the art of sound designing. This art of sound designing is basically creating sounds on top of sounds on top of sounds on top of sounds, and just keep messing it up until you cannot longer mess it up. It will get to a point in which like, okay, I think I just stepped over the boundaries. Okay, undo. I like it like this. And then you just clean it up, and before you know it, boom, you get a nasty sound on your drop. That's the art of sound design. And it all based on that God of War game. Before you know it, I just made the gnarliest stuff. I wish you guys can hear some of my music. Well, those you can still hear it at SoundCloud or Spotify at Wolves and Music. So you guys can check it out over there and listen to some of my dubstep songs out of there. And there's a few traps songs here and there. But the new stuff that I'm making, oof, it's all inspiring from video games. Like, I'm actually building myself an EP for this. Oh my God, shock announcement. But it's still in the works. Like, it still have a long way to go. I want this EP to make it sound like it makes sense. You know, like that's like, I want to make it sound like this is a Wolfson sound. And that's another thing. This is how it helps you to create your own sound. Because out of all this sound design, all of a sudden you create a sound that you've never heard in your life because you made it out of just that one little sample thing. And you fucked it up so many times that I got to a point like, wow, this could be my signature sounds. And boom. See, there's a lot of cool things that you can do about this, you know? So my final thoughts to this, it's great to be playing video games. It really is. It's not meant for everybody. Everybody's definitely much more focused on making their own crafts. That's fine. But for those who are struggling, try to figure out how I can balance both. Then don't stop either one. Like, don't stop playing games and don't stop making your own crafts. Like, have them all balanced. You said it yourself. I need to learn how to balance. Well, balance it. Let's just say that every Sunday I'll play video games the whole day. And every Saturday, I'm dedicating the whole day making music. That's balance enough. And then you can still do all your other stuff that in your life. Oh, but what if I'm busy on Sundays and Saturdays that I don't have time for it? Okay. If you go to school, if you go to work, once you get out of work or once you get out of school, dedicate an hour or two of music and then dedicate yourself an hour or two on video games. And like I said earlier, you'll never be disappointed because at least you follow through. And it becomes like a permanent, what's the word? You get accustomed to it. You get accustomed that you automatically set yourself that every day, oh, I do 2 hours of music every day, 2 hours of music. And then later on at night, I do an hour or two of video games. And I managed to do all of them all at once. It's all about time wise, like how you administer your time on your daily life and how you prioritize them. That's all. Not saying to stop. And don't ever listen to these people. Even they're well-known instructors or successful engineers, artists, and whatnot, telling you don't ever stop playing video games if you actually want to make it in the industry. Lies. False. Fuck off. No. You can do it. Because I've seen a lot of producers doing it. If they can do it, why can't you? Who's stopping you that telling you that, no, I can't do it because I do this and that? Like, no, fuck that. You can still do it. Absolutely. But again, it all comes down to prioritize your priorities and administer your time consuming of all these other factors. But do I believe that video games can be very motivational on your music, on your crafts? Absolutely. In fact, some of the best graphic designers I've met have come ideas from playing video games, and they make the sickest designs ever. But it all comes down from that. So yeah. So let's wrap this up. End of the show. I mentioned some pros and cons to it. This episode was basically more a lot of pros into it of why it's actually good. I guess the cons to it, basically, it's time consuming, like it's on your own personal beliefs, whether you want to prioritize one or the other. You get a lot of peer pressure. You get writer's block if you're playing video games, like you decide to like dedicate more your video games than your production. That's a con because it has happened to people that they rather focus on their video games than their production. This is all about pros and cons of what happens when you do play games. The whole episode was a whole pros of why. The cons I'm just mentioning right now. So, any other thoughts that I can think about cons of playing video games, whether it's a huge distraction? I don't know. Me personally, I don't think it's a distraction. And I'm talking about the whole concept of playing video games or the use of video games. It's not a distraction for me because at least I learned how to administer my time wise of when I want to play video games and when I want to make music. Like I learned how to do that. It's not easy for everybody. And like I said earlier, not everybody can do this. That's true. It's not meant for everybody. But for those who actually want to try it out, they go for it. This is the episode. This is the episode telling you guys like this is what I've dealt with, and I have done both sides, and I found it much more useful that instead of taking away something that I cherish a lot and be miserable about it, like no, let me just put some time on that and a lot of time on this, or both and half and half, like an hour this another. Like I said, like. There's no need for me to repeat myself. Like I've said it all in this episode. But it does give me a form of creativity. It's not a distraction. It's definitely something that I love to do, and I will continue to do this for many, many years, including when my kids are around. I'm definitely want to teach them all this type of stuff. But this is my personal experience. This is my opinion. What you guys think about this? Like I want to hear your thoughts. So please comment down below. And let me hear your thoughts, your experience, and what you come across about this, what you guys think about this. Because, like I said, very controversial. A lot of people will tell you don't do it, and then you got some people that's like, hey, it's okay, because I do it all the time. So guys, thank you for listening. And remember, every week it's a brand new episode with a brand new topic. So be sure to like and subscribe to get your weekly episodes at the Lone Wolv Podcast for SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and you can also check out my YouTube channel at lonewolfpod.com. That's lonewolfpod.com. So comment down below and share your experience, and I want to hear it, guys. So, and maybe next episode we can talk about it and then mention you over there. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys at the next one. Deuces.